let's get started. What up, everybody? It's your boy G Money. We're about to go over a balancer tutorial. So if you've ever wondered about balancers in Factorio, I'm your man. I got you. All right, let's do this. In your base, you want to have your main bus. You got 4 lanes coming in, and then you have, let's say this is iron and copper, and then you have your takeoffs, so you can actually build all your stuff. That's called the main bus layout. I'm not going to be going over that today. There's a really good tutorial series by Nilaus called Vanilla Done Right, and instead of trying to recreate what he's already done, his is excellent, and I suggest going to check that out. I'm going to put that in the show notes. But what I'm going to go over today specifically is balancers. So let's say you have some iron coming in, but it's not exactly in a balanced manner. So let's say, all right, we've got some iron coming in now. Those are all even, but this actual track doesn't have anything coming in yet. So if we were running off this main bus, we would have 3 half lines here full. And that's not the ideal situation. So what we want to do is create a balancer that'll evenly distribute all of the iron across all the different belts. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Alright, and if you look at all the tracks here, we have 2 coming in. This one ran dry. So we have 2 tracks coming in, we have 4 coming out. And they're all on the one side because these tracks aren't evenly distributed. But what we're going to do is fill up these so that the whole thing is full. So let's do that now. Alright, you'll see how this one's full. It's going to come in here, it's going to come through here, and it's either going to go through this path or this path. And then once it reaches these, it's going to go either to this path or this path. And then it's also coming through here, and either going through here, or all these different ways. And just this one track being full, you'd actually be able to keep all of this full the whole way down. So let's take a look at what that looks like. So this is just one track coming in, and it's feeding all 4 tracks. So that's kind of cool, right? Tutorial over. No, I'm just kidding. Well, kind of. When you have the main bus all set up, you're going to be creating stuff. So, like, let's say, I don't know, we want to make let's say we're going to make like some green chips, green circuits. Let's fill these ones up with copper. Alright, so all I did was tell the robots that I want some more copper, a little bit of steel. Let's say we were going to build some green chips. We need the copper wire, the iron, and the actual chips themselves will come off of that. So let's set up a little construction here. We're going to have the iron come in here. We're going to have the copper come in here. It'll probably make more sense if I set these up correctly. So these need the 3 copper cables and 1 iron plate. So how are we going to get that across? We're going to jump the copper here, and we're going to take it off of this first line. So here's where the copper is going to come from. Let's fill this up a little bit. Because it looks like it ran out already. Normally we would have like 4 lines coming in and 4 lines coming out. But just for demonstration purposes, let's do this. Alright. Then we'll have the copper coming out of here. Same kind of deal. I'll just pull it off of here. Looks like I'm a little short on copper today. Alright, you see the copper's coming off of here. It's going down here, feeding everything. We're going to have green chips coming off. Oops. And then from here, we start filling up another lane, like of just green chips, for example. You see, and you can carry this the whole way down your bus for whatever else needs green chips. They can grab them from further down the line. And there you have the basics of a main bus. But there's some stuff that I wanted to show you about pulling from the main bus. So this is the first time that we're pulling from the bus. There's nothing, you know, behind this guy. The next time that we pull from iron or from copper, we want to pull instead of from this belt, because we're going to be pulling twice as much. We want to pull from this lane here. So if we were to pull from this lane, we'd be taxing it by, essentially we'd be pulling it twice. What am I trying to say? Essentially we'd be pulling twice from the same belt. So let's pull from this belt over here. How can we do that? We can reroute all of this stuff under here, send this down here, and then do whatever we had to do with this. You know, if we were like gonna feed the next like green circuits or something like that, you know, whatever. But you can see, like, as this is going down the line, it's gonna pull from here first, and then it's gonna pull from this lane second. Whatever else is left in here, it's going to feed into this lane. So now we're successfully pulling from 2 different lanes. And then these ones aren't even touched yet. We can use that. We can pull from the first one, then pull from the second lane, then the third lane, then the fourth lane, so on and so forth. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Yep. Okay. What else did I want to cover? All right. So yeah, okay, so we've pulled from the first lane, pulled from the second lane, whatever. We have a balancer set up here. We want to only pull from each lane once before we actually have another balancer. Does that make sense? We can have another balancer here, and that would be okay, even though we haven't pulled from these lanes, because these ones would fill these. But we don't want to pull... Oops, forgot to do one thing. We refill this lane. Alright, so if you look, we're getting a little, we're starting to tax everything down here. So what were to happen if these lanes started running out? if we were to pull from these lanes again down the road, they'd be pretty much empty. So what we want to do is put a second balancer in, just like that. Instead of doing that, we can just get a blueprint like this. That way we don't have to do it every single time. And just put it in. We want to clear this out. Oops. Let me just put the new one in like that. What this will do, no matter how drained these are, it'll rebalance everything out. Alright, so that's the basics of the tutorial. There wasn't a whole lot to this one as far as 4 coming in and 4 coming out, but what I wanted to show you was what happens when you have 3 coming in and 4 coming out, or 2 coming in and 4 coming out, or 6 and 6. So let's go to the internets. Shall we go to the internet? Let's go to the internet. Hey, the internet. All right. So what I have pulled up here is wiki.factorio.com. We can, I'll put all of these in the show notes so you can look at it later, but wiki.factorio.com has all kinds of good stuff for beginners, intermediate, advanced players, endgame stuff. You can always come and check this out, but what I wanted to show you was the balancers. There's a whole article about why to use balancers, how they work, inputs versus outputs. Geez, what is it, like dial-up internet over here? And it talks about pulling evenly from the inputs or distributing evenly to the outputs. Some of them are going to evenly pull and evenly distribute, some not. You can check that out if you want to learn more about that. But what I had set up was the 4-to-4 belt. So let's check that out. This is the design that I had. I use it so much that it's kind of stuck in my brain. But you have 4 coming in, they get all distributed, then you have 4 coming out. I'll show you how that works. If this is lane A, B, C, D, A and B combine to these 2 belts here, A and B, they come in. D and C come in, they combine here and here. Both A and B come into this side, C and D come into this side, and then they get split up. So A comes in, and it goes up here and down here. B comes in, it goes over here and down here. C and D. Then they all come out, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D. So that's kind of cool, right? You can have 4 coming in and 4 coming out, and it's all going to balance out. One thing to do, instead of trying to go to the website and look them up every single time, what you can do is copy the blueprint string, go back to your game, and then go up to Blueprint Library. You can select Import String, paste, import, boom. Now you got a balancer. Alright, it's called yet another balancer. Take this, hit E again, and now it's in your library. You can right click and see all the stuff. You can use it individually or whatever. Or you can click this book, throw it in your inventory, and then when you pull it up, you see how it's labeled 1-to-1 balancer? I mean, that's just 1-to-1. Lucy, what are you doing? Come here. Hey. Sorry. You got a 1-to-1 balancer. Here's a 1-to-2, 1-to-3, 1-to-4. You can see it has 1 coming in, 4 coming out. 1-to-5, 1-to-6, 1-to-7, 1-to-8. So that means 1 input coming in and 8 coming out. So we have 4 coming in and 4 coming out. Let's see what that looks like. Left click. Oh, and what I'm doing here is I'm holding shift and I'm scrolling the mouse wheel. Down, up. So we have 4 coming in and 4 coming out. So we could just lay it right on top like that if we really wanted to. So let's see what that looks like. Just pop it down right there. Now we can let the robots take care of the rest, or we can just build it right now. Looks like I have 1 construction robot. That's just going to take care of everything. Good robot. Something's missing here. Oh, it's missing these guys. Alright. I don't know why that is. Look into that later. Alright, so that's the balancers that I wanted to show you. Here's the other thing I wanted to show you. This reference sheet has everything that you wanted to know as far as how the numbers work. So this throughput, 13.3 per yellow belt. If you hover over, you can see the belt speed is 13.3 items per second, 0.33. And it's going to take 47 of these stone furnaces to fill the yellow belt completely. So if we had a bunch of yellow furnaces set up, to fill the belt completely, we would need to have 47 of them, or 24 of the steel furnaces to actually fill the entire yellow belt. So that's something that Nilaus is going to explain pretty well. We'll check that out in a minute, but just keep that in mind. Alright, so here's something I wanted to show you. This is, get out of here. This is called Factorio, Vanilla Done Right. This guy Nilaus has a video series, I think it's like 20 episodes of just like how to build a really good base, and I totally suggest watching that. I've learned a lot from that guy. You can learn a lot from him too. But this one in particular, Vanilla Done Right, E4, what he's doing is building that main bus that we were talking about. Oh, that's just the printer going off. That Vanilla Done Right, building the main bus, he's going to go over all the little details and everything of exactly how to set up everything correctly. He goes through some meticulous details sometimes, but all of it's correct, and he has a lot of little tips and tricks about how to get stuff done. I would totally suggest watching that for the main bus. He's going to talk about which lane to pull from and how to do all that kind of stuff. He doesn't talk about, he might have talked about balancers a little bit, but this tutorial was talking specifically about balancers, so it kind of like is supplementary to what he has going on here. But anyway, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover as far as balancers go. That was the tutorial for Wednesday. I hope you learned something. Have a good night.